I want to open up today's video with a question. Are you in region beta? Are you experiencing the region beta paradox? If you don't have a clue what I'm on about, don't worry about it, because most people don't. So allow me to explain with some examples what the beta region paradox is, and you can decide if you're unwillingly falling victim to this concept. Okay, so most people, if needed to travel a mile or less, they would opt in to walk. However, if they were presented with a second scenario where they had to travel more than a mile, then they would opt in to cycle or perhaps drive to cover that distance. So paradoxically, you travel 2 miles quicker than you travel 1. And there's areas of region beta that you would cover more quickly because you were presented with a more inconvenient option, aka you needed to travel more than 1 mile. So the point is, because you decided to take the more inconvenient option, it actually meant that you covered more area and got to your destination far quicker than if you take the easier and less urgent option, which was walking. Okay, hopefully you're still with me. So let's take a look at a real life scenario where the beta region paradox is very much paramount. So this would be living life where you're not exactly happy. Things aren't really where you want them to be. Perhaps fulfillment and the lack of purpose is very much present. But you always say to yourself, well, things could be worse. Perhaps the 5-year relationship you've been in has been stagnant for the past year. The cute moments have faded with the laughs that you used to regularly share together. But you say to yourself, well, things could be worse. The relationship could be toxic. Perhaps the job you're working is so mind-numbingly boring that the lack of purpose and fulfillment is eating away at your soul, causing you to go out binge drinking on the weekend and eat loads of sugar. But you say to yourself, I've been in this job for years and I'm quite comfortable. Or perhaps you hang around with a group of so-called friends, but your values don't even align. You don't even share the same interests. But you say to yourself, well, I've known them since school and they do live close by after all. So I think we can all agree them situations are far from perfect. However, the big problem is that most people would put up with them because they're not bad enough. They're not bad enough to create a catalyst for people to make that change. So people will just happily live their life for years in these suboptimal environments. So these people would much rather benefit from a more catastrophic event happening because it would force them to make that change. But instead they kind of live their life in this numbness where they know things aren't great, but just because they're comfortable or they can just about put up with it, they will put up with it for many years. So think back to the beta region paradox. If you're presented with the easy option, aka traveling less than a mile, you will cover less area. You won't get to your destination as quicker than if you was presented with that more inconvenient option, aka traveling more than 2 miles, because you would cycle or drive, which means you get to your destination quicker and you cover more area in the beta region. Now, the real dangers of the beta region paradox is that your own awareness becomes numb. It's so easy to numb your perspective and awareness because things are so progressive and they happen at a rate that isn't alarming until it's too late. So this can be easily avoided by just questioning yourself more often and being more aligned with your values. Now, the worst thing you can do is wake up 5 years later and realize you've been stuck in a relationship that you're not happy with, or even worse, waking up realizing you've just wasted 10 years of your life in a job that you hate. These are pretty crude awakenings, but they do happen. So you need to do the introspective work and ask yourself questions more often. Make sure that you're aligned with your purpose and values, as this will guide you to where you want to be.